Afternoon, folks. It's Bob out here at Sorrento Hill. Well, today I'm uh, I'm doing some planting on some herbs. I've got these herb garden boxes that I've built. I've sold about a dozen of these at 75 bucks a piece. So I decided I was going to use one for me. And what I'm doing, I bought at the farmer's market a couple weeks ago. I bought this pot with chocolate mint. You can see the roots hanging down. I set this on a planter, an empty planter. It had some dirt in it, and yeah, the roots have grown down out of the pot down trying to get into that soil. It wants to live. So there's three little plants here. I'm going to see if I can separate them out, and I'm also going to plant some lemon basil and some peppermint in here. And to try to keep them separated, I got some boards that I'm going to be putting down in there to divide my planter into thirds, see if I can keep the roots from spreading. We'll see how that works. But if you're doing mint, the best thing to do is do it in a bed or a box so it can't spread out. And this is just garden cloth. I'm lining it with I put a solid bottom in these, and they've got some room for drainage, but I'm just going to go ahead and line it with some garden cloth, weed fabric, whatever you want to call it, just as a little extra protection for the wood and to help hold water in a little better. And basically all you got to do is just kind of put it in place as best I can, and staple it, put a few staples in. I don't have to worry about it too much because the dirt will obviously hold it in. Excuse me, the soil. I called dirt one time and somebody said, it's in the garden, it's soil. Dirt's out in your yard. Oh well. So anyways, and then we get this done, we'll take a little trip and I'll show you what my garden's looking like so far. And I got a little extra in a couple places here, and I think I will just fold that down, staple it in. I may trim the edges a little bit, or not. Alright, and then I got my handy dandy shelf to set this on instead of just throwing it on the ground. And I'll put a little dirt in it, excuse me, a little soil in it. I'm going to put in just enough to get the bottom covered and get my board placed in, and then I'll fill it up the rest of the way. Well, hello there, Annie. We got company. I'll put my dividers in, slide them down in, just kind of eyeball it. That needs to go over a little. And with the boards, each of these will be about 9 inches. Each of these sections will be about 9 inches by 20 inches, which is a pretty decent sized planter space for what I'm doing. That'll allow me to grow plenty of stuff. stand to have a little bit trimmed off. That's one of the things about working with these cedar fence pickets is some of them are thicker than others. Some are thicker than others. So a board that's cut fits in, slides in great one place, it's really tight in another. Alright. So I got my dividers in. Put another straight. Looks like I may need to open the other bag. I want them all the way to the tops of the dividers because they'll settle some after it's been wet a little bit. I'll open my other bag, and then what I don't use from the other bag will go out in the garden. Start off with my chocolate mint. See if I can separate it out. I said it's the roots are growing through. Hopefully I can pull those roots out, save as much as possible, and we'll try to separate it out, split it up. So I have 3 plants to plant, or at least it's 2. That one's not going to split apart. Not very well. Got lots more leaves coming up. If you've never smelled chocolate mint, it's really wild. You crush the leaves and you'd swear it smells like a one of those Girl Scout cookies, a Thin Mint Girl Scout cookie. Really neat. I've got Genovese basil in there, so I'm going to plant lemon basil. I got some free stuff from M.I. Gardener when I ordered some seeds. That's one of the cool things about ordering from them is you order certain amounts and you'll get a bonus pack, and you never know what it's going to be. But that's how I got the Tabasco peppers. It was a free pack. Now I've got this lemon basil. And I got a bunch of seeds, so I'm just going to kind of broadcast them out and cover them up, and then I'll thin them out later if I need to. These are so small. Basically all you got to do is just kind of ruffle the soil up to get them covered. Okay, lemon basil, and now some peppermint. Boy, it's humid out here. I'm sweating like crazy. Of course, it's like 2:30 in the afternoon. I had to, wow, these are tiny, tiny seeds. These are tiny seeds. I swear I must have gotten about two or 300 seeds for $1.96 in this packet. So let's kind of get those covered over, hopefully. And then I'll give them a little douse of water and tell them grow. I like my little watering wand. Got several different settings. And I'll just give these a good dousing. And wash my planter off at the same time. I guess that's good advertising for my planters if I'm using one of them myself. Like I said, these have sold really well for me. I've sold about at least a dozen of them so far. And hopefully in the next couple of weeks, this will give me 3 more, and hopefully I'll get those sold. I probably won't build any more planters this season because I think people are getting close to the end on buying things like planters. But one thing about raised beds like this compared to in ground is if you overwater, it'll run right through. That's why I put a solid cedar bottom on it. All right. Now we'll see how they grow. Pretty quick. I'll have to grab that bag and take that with me out to the garden. When I go show you the garden, and I'll dump that in. That blackberry thicket is just going crazy on me, and got a lot of berries in it, and some of them are starting to turn, and I got wildflowers growing in there too that are really pretty. Oh, and I got another mullein plant that came up right by my gate. I'm gonna have to dig that up and transplant it. Here's the other ones that had already come up. You see how big that one is? These leaves are huge. Look at that in comparison to my hand. And it's got the spike coming up. It's pretty cool. Yeah, my tomatoes are doing good. I've had to cage a couple of them. And peas are growing up towards the trellis. A couple of them have already attached to the trellis. And then all of my peppers they're growing. I've got planted some zucchini. I've got zucchini starting to sprout. And some weeds too. That's one thing about the raised bed is you don't have near the fight with weeds, and the soil is looser than typically. Oh, and over here, I don't know if you can see them, I got some marigolds coming up. I planted marigolds around the border in some areas. And then my Kentucky Wonder beans, they're growing up and they're starting to attach themselves to my little piece of fence that I've got for a trellis. Last year, my beans, after being in for 3 months, were not as big as this. And these are less than 30 days. And bush beans they're doing great too. So, and then over here I got my okra and some mortgage lifter tomatoes and more peppers. And eggplant, it's doing so. I may have to replant it. And in this bed, I have one rhubarb plant that survived from last year that's come back, and it's doing great. I mean, it never, last year, it didn't get any leaves as big as that on it. And so it's doing well this year. I've got some artichoke in here, and I've got some squash that's starting to come up. And I've also, in this bed, I've got a little bit of, as well as the other one, I got some marigolds and purple coneflowers, echinacea, planted in there as well. So it's going pretty good. And then up by the house, I've also got my tomato plants up there are growing like gangbusters, and both of them have got blooms on them. So for too long, I'll have tomatoes. So already we're looking a whole lot better than we did last year, and that's got me feeling pretty good, to be quite honest with you. So, all right, I think I'm gonna call it a day on the garden. I've got to go work on some stuff in the workshop, things to build, and getting ready for the farmer's market. I got a couple items I need to get finished up for that, and I got a customer build that I'm working on that I got to get finished up, and so we can see if we can make some money to buy some more garden soil, or buy some more seeds, or some more plants, or something like that, right? All right, this is Bob at Serenity Hill. Thanks for stopping by. Like and subscribe. Hope your garden's doing well. We'll keep you posted on ours. Keep your hands dirty. Keep your heart happy. Sweat never killed anybody. Have a great time. Have a good one, and we will see you on the next one. Bye now.